We are talking today with Roland Bynum, longtime air personality here and teacher, also now author. And Roland, your book comes out Saturday. It's called God Shot. Speaking of shout out to Molly Bell from the city of Compton. She wanted you to define God Shot for her.
Okay, God Shot. It's a shot of God's love.
All right. So it sounds like he's hearing the delay in the headphones, Bobo. Is there anything we can do about that? All right. We're working this out like we always do. Let's go to Howard while we're waiting. And hi, Howard. Good morning. You're on the air.
Oh, okay. Ronnie, you probably remember me. I'm Howard. I called you the first time I was on graveyard shift. I identified myself to you as Howard from King Drew. And a quick story is that I came to work one night. I worked at CT scan at Martin Luther King Hospital, and I came worked graveyard shift that weekend. And I came in that night, that Saturday night, and the evening shift had 10 gunshot wounds on the evening shift. And I came in, it was 3 on my shift. I said, wow, this is too much. So you on the radio, and I said, well, let me call Roland. Maybe he play some cheerful music for me, cheer me up, because it was kind of devastating. Not that, it was a war zone out there. You remember back in the cocaine days, I was on the front lines of that stuff, and he put me, and Roland put me on hold. He said, okay, I will talk to you, man. He put me on hold, and I had a patient waiting to come over, and it seemed like he took forever to come back to the phone, but somehow, miraculously, God was on our side, and he let me talk to you about what was going on that night. And ironically, my mother said she just had to wake up, and she heard me on the radio, and another coworker heard me too, and he said, is it that bad, man? I said, yeah, man. Just know it's a war out there, and that's how I identified you. Over the years, I called you here and there just to check on your health, and you sounded real good, man. You sounded real good. You could tell how a person feels by the tone of his voice. You sound like he was when he was on KJLH. And
so, also, Howard, you've been calling Roland for years, it sounds like. Yeah, that's amazing.
Well, years back since like 2000, whenever that happened, because, we go way back. I met him personally before I called him when he went to the house at Uhuru. He used to run up his recovery, and I did his chest x-ray at the White Cell Center. And we talked in about
that's amazing.
The old DJs on KJL, Montague and Hunter Hancock and all those guys. And we never really met too much person, but we have a connection. And also, I remember you said you was a custodian at Jefferson High School, and I went to Jordan, and we played Jeff in the city championship, which we beat Jeff.
Wow, this is like all memory lane. Roland Bynum, any words for Howard this morning? Who's been calling you? Sounds like for 20 years.
Who is this? I didn't get his name.
That was Howard. We've lost him, but he was just giving us a long reminiscence on his 20 years of calling you and being inspired by you.
Yeah, Howard has my history down. I was a custodian at Jefferson High School. In fact, the Rocks Revolt happened on my second wedding anniversary, August the 11th, 1965, 55 years ago. I was a custodian at Jeff, and my history goes way back in this city, and I might add. Can I Molly asked about God shots. I'm going to give an example from my book. It's a chance happening with profound meaning and an unexpected blessing, a message from God, an unexpected favor or sign. So from my book, in the book, it tells when I was a young teenager, I was working at a grocery store, Allen Supermarket, and I got fired for stealing stockings. Now, I had the skinniest legs in the world, and what I need with women's stockings, I don't know. But listen, here's the deal. As I walked out of the store, I walked down the street, and I was crying because I had lost my job.
Wow.
And I was crying. And the barber came out and put his arms around my shoulder and said, Roland, why are you crying? And I said, I just got fired from Allen Supermarket. And George Penny, he is my surrogate father, took me into the barber shop and said, I'll give you a job. And there was a shoe shine stand there. And he said, you can shine shoes. I said, George, I don't know how to shine shoes. He said, I'll teach you. And he says, Horace Chisholm is going to come. Horace Chisholm is also a name in the book. And so I took the job, and it was a Muslim barbershop. George and Florence Penny were Muslims. Well, one of our customers was none other than Malcolm X. And Malcolm X used to come in and get his hair cut and, talk to everybody in the barbershop, and we used to shine his shoes. Well, I told you I was in the Castle program. It just so happens at God Shots, and I share this in the book, that my clean day, the day I got clean, is Malcolm X's birthday, May 19th, 1989. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that was a God shot. And I think God was revealing to me that this man who was so important and who was not a myth, but who was a living person in my life, God gave me that date so I can carry it within my spirit. And that's an example of the many God shots that I received throughout my life. My children call me Roland Gump, not Forrest Gump, but Roland Gump. It's in the book.
Is there a God shot in basketball?
I think so. There was a dirt court. The older guys took a field and they stomped it down, cleaned it up, got a 2x4, put up a basketball court, and we used to play basketball there. And I was really skinny. I was always hungry. I was undernourished as a young person. No, it's a true story. When you see the pictures in the book, you'll see how skinny I was. I never realized I was that skinny until I started seeing the pictures much later in life. I never realized that I was so skinny. In the book, there's a chapter that says there's no such thing as a McDonald's. And in the book, it talks about the way I ate is out in Inkster, Michigan, there were open fields where people would plant food. And during the summer months, I would go get the watermelon, go get the tomatoes, and I would eat that. I would eat the fruit off of people's trees. I would eat the grapes and the wild strawberries. There wasn't no McDonald's. And so I was so undernourished. Even in high school, the cafeteria people fed me because I just never ate. The people I lived with never really fed me. I would have to go to other people's houses to eat.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Although, honestly, you probably get more nutrition eating off of fruit off of trees than you get from eating fast food.
That's probably what gave me this long life.
You know what I just learned? This seems random, but it's funny we were talking about it. Fallingfruit.org is a thing where you can find out where there's free fruit you can get from trees, because it is not illegal to forage. But anyway, just a fascinating and powerful history. Let's go to Jamal calling from L.A. Jamal, you're on with Roland Bynum on the front page.
Good morning and congratulations. This is the CEO of the Roland Fan Club. And I'd like to congratulate you on your book.
What's up, Detroit?
I also have a question. What would you consider yourself to be and dealing with all these different personalities in the classroom, did that help you develop a sense of how to read people and how to communicate with them? That's my
Say that again. I didn't say it again.
Yeah, he's talking about, your connection in the classroom. Does that help you, connect with people in general by learning how to connect with students and the work that you've done? Does that help you? I guess in a way, does radio feed this classroom work, and does the classroom work feed the radio?
Yeah, I think they're the one and the same. Being in radio for many years gave me an opportunity to interact with all levels of people, street people all the way to people in Hollyweird, as I call it. And so that interaction allowed me to be at ease with people. So I was able to bring that into the classroom with the students and be at ease with the students. I never thought I was better than students. I always thought that I always saw myself in the students. I saw myself in the students. I told my students that when I taught English, I told them that I had an English teacher named P.Z. Robinson, and she was a technician. And what do I mean? She knew English, but she didn't know students. Let me say that again. And there are probably teachers out there listening too. She was a technician. And if you're a technician, you may know your craft, but you may not know your students. And the two is like oil and water. They don't mix. And so the students leave your class still confused, still not understanding what it is that you're trying to teach them. Again, it goes back to what me and Gail Starr, one of my cohort teachers, talk about. You got to meet them where they are. You got to listen to them. And so when you listen to them, they'll tell you what they need. Then it's your job to give it to them. And so, Jamal, yes, that interaction is so key, is so important that when you do that, and let me tell you something about children and students. They'll tell you who's the real. They'll let you know. They'll tell you about other teachers. And I don't allow them to castigate teachers. in front of me. That's their business. But they will be honest enough to tell you what teachers are giving them what they need. So, yeah, that's a combination of being in radio, being in front of people, has been so important in my relationship with students in the classroom for the 20 years that I taught.
What advice would you give to teachers, and what advice would you give to parents trying to help their children do better with distance learning, which, starts next week, and people are pretty nervous about it?
Well, I don't think anything happens for no reason. I think there is a reason for this. One of the important components in our students are the parents. And I hear teachers all the time saying the missing link are the parents. And parents, I know parents, single parents and parents who are mother and fathers in the homes. In many instances, they do not take the time to give their children what they need. And I think this is a very important time for parents to be able to find out what it is that they can do to support their children learning. I don't think it's by mistake. The young lady that came on earlier with the astrology and the information and what's happening, I don't think it's by mistake. I don't think the pandemic is by mistake. I think it has allowed parents and children and community to draw closer together. And in that relationship, parents are going to find a way, because it's your baby. Your child is your gift from God. Your children are your gift from God. And so if they are your gift, what do you do with the gift? You treat it with love and respect. And so it's important that parents take the time. I don't care what it is. You must take the time to find out what your babies need. And in that relationship, you'll find that the child will be able to learn better. So it is a new dynamic. So it is distant learning. That is the future right now. Let me say this again. Distant learning is the future right now. So get into it. Find out what it is that they need. Give the children what they need. Talk to the teachers. Talk to whoever you need. I'm going to say this. I was fortunate. I had 13 children. I had an insight to education because I worked in the education industry field. So I knew exactly what it is that my children needed. Not saying that they were all scholars. That's not what I wanted for my children. I wanted them to be good young people. But I knew the language of education. And parents, you need to learn the language of education. You need to learn everything you can to support your child. Remember, they're your gift. They're not an offspring. They are your gift. And there's a difference.
Indeed. Lots and lots of callers for you, Roland. Popular guy, which we already knew that. Sister Kwana calling from Jew Park. Good morning. You're on with Roland Bynum on the front page.
Good morning. Thank you so much, sister, for taking my call. And hello, Roland Bynum. I'm so proud of you. I want to congratulate you on your book. And before I get to my question, I just want to say that it's always just such a pleasure hearing you on the radio. I cannot wait to hear you on Saturdays again. I really miss that. But what I wanted to say as well is that you being a male teacher is so important, and I know that we don't have as many of strong presence, but I wanted to say that for you, and I have strong role model teachers as well that listen to this front page, Kareem Shaw and Reggie Andrews, very, very, very strong black men, very, very, very strong leadership in the community. Roland, I want to ask you, do you get involved with any type of leadership programs or anything like that with your youth within the high school that you teach, middle school, or anything like that? Because I know that it makes a big, big difference. It's those leaders that start off in education with the schools and things like that and turn out to be people like
Got
me.
it.
I'm a product.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely,
Thanks.
Sister Kwana. Appreciate the question. Do you participate in, or do you recommend any leadership programs or rites of passage programs for kids?
Well, since I've been a teacher, I've been involved in many of them. There's an MPYD program up at the John Muir High School that was started by Dr. Eddie Newman. Mr. Shackelford put it together. We have sent, I can tell you, several hundred young men to college as a result of the program. I have been nothing but of service since I've been involved in radio. I've been one of service, and so many different programs. The high school in Pasadena, the Pasadena City College has this high school African American conference. We take the largest contingent of high school students to that conference every year. Black men, male mentoring. There are women mentoring programs. Just so many of them. I don't have them in front of me, but if you ask, I've always been involved. And I'll just tell you like that. I never say no. And I've just been involved for, since I've been in LA radio and mentoring programs. So any specific ones? As I said, MPYD in Pasadena, and off the top of my head, I just can't think of any, but I've been involved in so many. If I look around at these...
we'll do a follow-up if you want to, Roland, if you want to let me know, we can always relay that information back. A lot of folks still want to talk to you. You'll have till 6 o'clock when Steve Harvey and Ade Lamar get on the mic. And then, of course, we can take your calls right now until then. 520-KJLH. Just add your area code on the front, 520-5554. I've got a question you can answer on the other side of the break. How were you feeling watching California's own African-American, Indian-American, former State Attorney General, Senator Kamala Harris, be nominated, chosen by Joe Biden to be vice president? Get Roland Bynum's thoughts on that. We'll take more of your phone calls straight ahead. It's Radio Free 102.3 KJLH. We're talking with radio legend, teacher, and now author. His book is out Saturday. Roland Bynum. The book is called God Shots, and you could get it on Amazon and elsewhere. About 1 million people on these phone lines that want to talk to you. So we're going to try to power through these calls quickly if we can, because I don't want to leave anybody hanging. But I had to get the answer to the question I teased before the break. What are your feelings about Senator Kamala Harris ascending to the candidacy for the vice presidency?
I'm very excited about the both of them for this country. Kamala Harris is, they say she's on a fast track, but guess what? So what? That's where it is. She's brilliant, and she's a perfect fit, I feel, for Joe Biden. And that's my opinion. But I want to say this. I don't want people to take it for granted. We got to get out there and vote, and vote early and get it in there, because we know what they're doing at the post office. We know what the Postmaster General has tried to do to slow it down. And we got so many wonderful postal workers out there. And I just want to thank you for listening Saturday mornings. I love you guys, and keep up the great work. And we got your back. And we're going to get out there and we're going to make sure that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are going to be our next leaders in this country and make a difference for this country. So I'm very excited, Dominique.
It's a good point. We should be calling our lawmakers in support of the post office, not slowing down the mail, in support of the mail-in voting, which is run by that post office, and not just the Democrats. Call Mitch McConnell. You know, let them feel the heat. Mary from Compton, you are on. Good morning.
Good morning. First of all, Roland, I love you. And I miss you on Saturday. It is so important for us to hear you. I know Howard because I retired from King Hospital, and I was right there in the middle.
Mary, I need the short version. I know you love Roland.
I want to just say this. I'm in agreement with the elect. I'm in agreement with voting for Bynum and Harris. Okay? And I wanted to know, Molly beat me in the question, but I'm so glad that you explained what a God shot was. And I know you're right about kids. I have no children, but I saw a teacher on TV who said the first thing they do is to settle down and let the children talk to them, and then they can teach them. So you are so right. God bless you, and I can't wait till you come back on Saturday.
Okay, Mary out of Compton. June 8th, same as Kevin Nash and Karen.
Another Gemini. Wow, he knows the birthday of his Radio Free family. By the way, Mbaya means nasty in Swahili. That's our little teaching around here. We're learning Swahili. Okay. Mbaya, yeah. For all the Mbaya girls, doing big things. All right, Tony from L.A., you're on with Roland Bynum on the front page.
Good morning, Roland. Congratulations. We finally made it.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you, man, for being a representative for the recovering community. A lot of people, even in radio, who are recovering, they don't stand for us like you do. You know, and it made me feel real good. And thank you for being a big brother to me on this program.
He's a radio role model too, Tony. He's an absolute radio role model. Yes,
he is. And I don't have a question. I just want to congratulate you.
Just showing love. Thank you, Tony.
I love you.
Thank you, Tony. I love you, man. Thanks for helping me save my life. I love you.
That's good stuff. God Shots, by the way, that's the book. It's available on Saturday on Amazon.
Yes, it is. Yes. And, Saturday is Auntie Congresswoman Maxine Waters' birthday equally, as well as my sister Jackie, who was tragically taken away from us 25 years ago. I'm honoring my sister and my dear friend, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, better known as Auntie Maxine.
Leo season.
That's right. Leo season is in. That's right. Thank you.
Elma Jackson from the city of Compton. You're on with Roland Bynum. Short version, if you would.
Thank you for taking my call, Dominique. And Roland, we are so proud of you. We're so glad to hear your voice. And I just want to say you have been such a great parent, example of a parent and a teacher. And I just pray that those other educators will listen to what you say about listening to our children and providing them what they need, and not just taking education as a job. If more of them would do that, we would have more successful young people. And I'm retired from the county, and I know that sometimes teachers are the first to know the abuse that children are enduring, whether they're hungry, whether their families are homeless. And I wish that they would listen to you and make the children the focus of their education, and not just a
Thank
job
you, Ms.
and
Jackson.
for a paycheck.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Andrea from L.A., short version, if you would.
Hi, Roland. It's Andrea Alexander. You know I'm your #1 fan.
Hi, AA. Hi, Andrea.
And I just wanted to say that I miss your show more than ever, and we really need to hear you on the radio right now in light of all the things that are going on in the world. It's just so many injustices, but you help us to calm down and meditate and make it right. And then on another note, I want to say I'm going to be buying your book for all my friends and family to give them out as gifts.
Oh, I love that idea.
Yeah,
I'll do the same.
The holidays are
Thank
coming and birthdays. Let's buy
That's
the book.
right.
Let's support it.
Love that, Andre. I'm gonna copy you on that. Well,
I
you
love
have a
you.
lot
Thank
of
you
number
so much.
one fans, Roland Bynum. You got a lot of people that love you to the moon and back. That's a blessing.
Well, I love them equally as well, and thank you so much for this opportunity, Dominique, to share my story. This book, God Shots, Life is a Journey, but it's nothing without God. It's a work of love, and I just thank you for the opportunity. And I'm all ready to cry here. I'm almost ready to break down here.
Well,
Thank you so
I
much.
love you too. I'm your number one fan too, Roland Bynum. Can't wait for you to be back on the air. It's my Saturday morning chill pill, and and also thank you for your support of our show on Saturdays as well.
Always. I think what you're doing on Saturdays is so important. People said, "Oh, well, he's cutting off your time." I said, "No, listen to me carefully. We have a pandemic. We need the information, and we need not take this for granted." And what Dominique has been doing for the last 15 years on this radio station has made a difference. And for whatever you may say about it, the smart people do the right thing. The dumb people would just plow through it and forget it and won't bring the information. And that's what KJLH is all about. We are you. And that's just not a saying. That's true. And so what Dominique is doing on Saturday morning, give her your love. Support what she's doing. It is not easy what she's doing. She takes a lot of research. I look at what she's doing, and I see the different programs she's bringing. That's a lot of work. And so, Dominique, thank you so much for what you're doing.
Got to leave it there, but thank you. And you know what? There's room for all of us.
Yes,
Until next time, Radio Free Family, one love.